I'd like to go on a little journey today, a little field trip. Is that okay? Everybody ready? We are going to go to New Bedford Superior Court. That's where the homily is going to take place today. Is that okay? All right. And actually, the reason that you are there, by the way, is I'm the court bailiff. And you are going to be witnesses in a trial. And it's my duty to swear you in. So I'm going to call you forward. I'm going to ask you to take your seat in the witness box. I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand, put your other hand on a Bible, and then I'm going to ask you, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. What are you going to answer me? I do. Now, we've all watched TV. We've seen trials of famous people. We've seen trials of people we kind of admire. We see people we know who get up there and they say that. I do. And then they do anything but tell the truth. But you're not going to be like that today. You're going to tell the truth when the attorneys question you. So, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Good. Counselor. Jesus has a courtroom in Samaria. It's an outdoor courtroom, situated right by a nice well, Jacob's well. He doesn't ask the woman to take an oath, but he starts to question her. The interaction is familiar to us all. We know the woman at the well. We encounter her every third Sunday of Lent when we're in Cycle A. There are two things that are so important. We have to transport ourselves, stay in the courtroom though for a minute. We have to transport ourselves at the same time to over 2,000 years ago. We have to put into historical context what is actually happening. Jesus is talking to A woman, and B, a Samaritan, a sinner. How dare he? Of course, we know that Jesus is breaking down the cultural norms. He's challenging the scribes and the Pharisees. He's challenging their hypocrisy. And as this woman interacts with Jesus, she doesn't quite tell him the whole truth. He doesn't get upset with her like a lawyer would do in a courtroom. He's very gentle with her. And he does something to help liberate her from the burden that she has been living with for only God knows how many years. It's only a few words, and so if you really weren't listening, you might have actually missed it. After Jesus liberates her from that heaviness of sin, she does something. She leaves her heavy clay water pot. Heavy clay water pot. She leaves it by the well, and she goes to spread the good news. That pot is symbolic. It has meaning. She's been carrying it around with her. She's thirsty, yes. It's the middle of the day. It's noon. Imagine the summer heat in ancient Israel. And there she is carrying this heavy pot. Just as she has carried around the heaviness of sin, Jesus tells her, you don't need that. And so she trusts and she leaves it. She doesn't even realize she leaves her water pot behind. But because of that one moment of trust, she is liberated from the heaviness of life. Now we're still in the courtroom. Jesus asks us, as we're on the witness stand, what burdens you? What is heavy in your life? What do we carry around needlessly? Each of us has something, or a bunch of somethings. And And we don't even want to look up to Jesus. But he lovingly and tenderly picks up our chin and says, leave it here. Leave the heaviness, leave the sin, leave the darkness, leave the doubt, leave the resentment, leave the past angers, leave the frustration, leave the disappointment, leave it here at the well so I can give you living water. Because he knows that we are thirsty. He knows that we are hungry. He knows that we are burdened. And he tells us, he invites us. We could not receive a more loving invitation to leave the heaviness there by the well so that he can fill us with his living water. He did that already on the day of our baptism, when we were set free from original sin. Yet as imperfect as each of us is, we allow the heaviness to creep back into our lives. It's not what the Lord wants. That's not who he's calling us to be. Remember, we're a liberated people, yet we don't live that way. Sometimes we prefer to be mired down by the heaviness of our situations. Today, leave the heaviness of the water jar aside. Live satiated. Live fulfilled. Live as a disciple. Witnesses, you're excused.